We have now learned the factual premise that the Lakers can win without LeBron James. So if you're the guy that was staging your own personal holdout, which I believe he was, and it backfires because the Lakers are 7-2, now you've got no choice but to really double down on the sciatica.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
If Jacoby Brissett was playing bad football for the past 3 weeks, Kyler Murray will be fully healthy, ready to go. Can't wait to get him on the field at Seattle and try to resurrect our season. Now you have Jacoby Brissett playing really good football. Putting Kyler Murray back in right now because he wasn't playing good football doesn't make any sense. The perfect storm here for Arizona. Hey, Kyler, going on IR takes the pressure off you. And Jacoby, you deserve the start. Go ahead and start, kid.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
And the amazing thing you're going to say about Tom Izzo for the jump is, Tom Izzo don't duck anybody. You want to hear who they have to play preseason? Kentucky, Duke, UNC, and Arkansas. This is not the Jimmy Boeheim, don't leave New York, Carrier Dome Classic. This guy plays people.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Hump Day Wednesday right here on the SportsGrid Network. What a time to be alive. It's time for the Early Line. You know how we get down Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. each and every day. It's Donnie Rightside and it's Joe Ranieri. The hottest topics to get you ready. And also, we're down Monday. We're down Tuesday. We're here on Wednesday. You can see the future, which is Thursday, Friday, and the weekend just over the horizon. And our job is to help you get there. And over the next 2 hours, we will certainly do that with all the hottest topics, which includes the NBA, what happened last night. The NBA trying to tinkle with the All-Star game once again. You got to be kidding me at this point now. Hockey last night, college football last night, college basketball last night, and the NFL back in our lives tomorrow as well, Joe. We got a lot of business to get down to.
I love it, Donnie. Kind of midweek here, getting ready for what should be a great NFL Week 11. Yeah. And, of course, the nitty-gritty, getting down, put up or shut up time in college football.
College football. Oh, yes. That's probably where we should start this morning. Why? Because the college football rankings are out now. They don't make all that much sense, but, Joe, is there a team that you need to get caffeinated with and cheer for?
Yes, Donnie. So last night, the new college football rankings came out, and after looking at the board, I am here to announce that I have officially found my team. I know who I'm rooting for the rest of the season, Donnie. And it's the 5-4 Duke Blue Devils. Let's go, Blue Devils. Why? Well, because I love chaos, and I love rooting for chaos because the NCAA, ESPN, and all the suits around this college football playoff committee, they deserve chaos because they are now staring down the barrel of the ultimate doomsday scenario, and I am here for every second of it, Donnie. Remember what we were sold, right, for this 12-team playoff. We want to give more deserving teams a shot. We want to reward conference champions. Well, be careful what you wish for because the ACC is a complete and total 17-car pileup of mediocrity. Their best team, Donnie, our favorite, right? The U, Miami, has already choked away its chances. Thanks, Mario Cristobal. The team's actually in the hunt to win the ACC right now. Unranked SMU with 3 losses. Oh, yeah, and a 5-4 Duke team that has disgusting losses to UConn and Tulane. And get ready, Donnie, because here's where it gets absolutely beautiful. Remember, the new rule says the 5 highest-ranked conference champions get automatic bids. The committee already told us this week that the ACC has no signature non-conference wins. They're already telling us they think this conference stinks. So what happens if a 5-4 Duke team wins the ACC? You think the committee is going to put a 4-loss Duke ACC champion in their precious playoff, or do they give that guaranteed spot to, I don't know, let's say a 12-1 James Madison from the Sun Belt Conference instead? Or how about a Tulane team from the American Athletic Conference who already beat Duke this year? This is the chaos they created. A Power 4 conference could get left out entirely, Donnie, for a Sun Belt team or an American Conference team, all because their champion is a team that lost to UConn. The suits at the ACC and ESPN are praying that Miami somehow finds a way to sneak in, but not me. I'm rooting for the ugliest, most chaotic, most disruptive outcome possible. I want to see a 4-loss Duke team holding an ACC trophy, Donnie, forcing the committee to explain to the world that, well, sorry, they're just not good enough. Forget the best teams. Forget the most deserving. Root for pure, unadulterated chaos, Donnie. That's what I'll be doing. Go Duke.
And it just feels like every single year, the ACC championship game is always anticlimactic with a team that's usually Clemson so much better than everybody else. They blow them out, or 2 teams you just don't even care about, which it looks like it's going to happen once again this year. Just the way it goes down, a couple more weeks of those TV shows, and we'll have everything all figured out. Let's get to the early lineup today. We start right away in Dallas. And no, not for the Dallas Cowboys. It's the Dallas Mavericks, and it's Nico. My guy, Nico Harrison. Yeah, he's out the door. Understand this. Sometimes you can survive unbelievably bad trades because the fans get a little apathetic and say, okay, we'll move on. We're fun. We got the number 1 draft pick, and so be it. You can't have every single home game ridiculously through the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, where all they do is chant for your general manager to get fired. The one thing organizations don't want to be is embarrassed for a long stretch of time. They are embarrassed. They had to make that move to fire Nico Harrison, and quite frankly, he deserved it. Maybe the worst trade we've ever seen in NBA history. Yeah, you're going to get fired for that.
Yeah, and you're right, Donnie. They've been screaming at it forever. And there's a lot of layers to this, too, because don't forget, Patrick Dumont and the Mavs ownership here, they signed off on that Luka deal. Don't forget, this wasn't just him in a midnight say, let's... No. There is a lot going on behind the scenes. But guess what, Nico? You're the one who's going to take the fall for it, and deservedly so.
No, absolutely deservedly so in that point. And yes, it does get signed off there, but just one of those trades that never made any sense and felt like they got bailed out with the number 1 overall pick. But again, when owners walk into their own building and they are embarrassed on a night-to-night basis, changes will be made at that point here, and changes are made. How about back to the NFL? Travis Hunter, knee surgery, worse than anticipated. He's going to be down for 6 months before he can resume football activities. When you have a slender kid come into the NFL, I want to go both ways. Sometimes this is what happens. He's already down with a knee injury.
And it's already shaping up to be one of the biggest busts of the draft, Donnie, going in. I mean, some guys are just best college football players, right? They're the best that you will see, right? But doesn't mean it translates to the NFL. Deion Sanders, he is not.
Crazy, man. That's just maybe just focus on one side of it, and maybe it's a wide receiver, maybe it's not. Already knee injuries to start your NFL career, never a good sign. How about a guy, Mike Tomlin? He's not worried about Aaron Rodgers in the future. Dude's old. You better be worried about that.
Better figure something out, Donnie, because where is Pittsburgh going? And once again, Pittsburgh is going to be what, Donnie? They're going to be just good enough where they're not going to be able to utilize the draft to go get their future quarterback. So where does Pittsburgh go from here? It's a big question mark. And maybe the future in Pittsburgh doesn't include Mike Tomlin.
Come on, ticker tape parade at the end of the year. Once they go 9-8 this year, Joe, you know how it's done. Just win, baby, which means not championships. Just win one more game than you lose. That's what Pittsburgh does. By the way, LeBron James continues his rehab in the G League? There's no way LeBron James is logging G League minutes, is he?
Oh, I think he says he is, but let's be realistic here. No. But listen, I'm telling you, man, he'll be back come December, right around Christmas. That'll be when we start hearing from LeBron James.
Look at that picture. No hair on the back of his head. Tough scene. We did him dirty right there. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later in the show, Joe. The NBA, once again, changing their format. How about the format for this? We don't need it anymore, Joe. How about that? We just don't need the All-Star game.
Just give us the 3-point contest. You know what I mean? Give us those, all the things that you give us like on that Friday or Saturday night. Give us those things. Everything else, nobody cares. Like nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
It's ridiculous.
How about Joel Embiid? Nope. Oh, knee surgery on one knee in the offseason. Uh-oh, the other knee is acting up. Could this be the end of Joel Embiid in Philadelphia and for his dominating career?
What's more shocking to you, Donnie? The fact that Embiid is hurt again or Kawhi Leonard is hurt again? Which one's more shocking?
Or that the Sixers knew he had knee injuries and gave him a big extension there, but that's the NBA. Everybody gets paid regardless of your health status at this point. How about Paul Skeens telling teammates that he wants to go to the New York Yankees already, and he's look, that's like 2029 when they can hold on to him. And Ben Sherrington, the general manager, is like, we're going to try to build around Paul Skeens. Just look, end it now. Trade him to the Yankees, get a boatload, rebuild your stupid franchise where you can then get prospects to then trade away before they get good and need to get paid as well. I can't stand this, but I love the fact that Skeens is already telling people he wants out.
Yeah, we all know. Get your Yankee jersey with Paul Skeens' name on it.
The Yankees! Paul Skeens, new pitcher. Coming soon? Maybe. Let's get to the spread lines next.
Oh, look at that.
Notre Dame playing very well, in a position to crack the top 12. Now they have to take care of business.
Here's what I want from and again, we're going to go over who we think is actually going to make the playoffs here a little bit later in the show. But understand this, Joe. I don't want any ACC in there. I don't want any Big 12 in there. Just give me the Big 10 and the SEC. And Mike, quite frankly, if you just gave me Ohio State, Indiana, and the rest of the SEC, boom, boom.
Nah.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
It is a sickness in this league. They stink, and they should stink next year. That's it.
But the expectation is to be a 9-8 football team.
So let's shake it. Why is that the expectation? They're garbage. And traded away two of the few good guys they have.
But they're going to get how many draft picks in the first round? 3 next year?
2.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Brissett has been that good. So this is a quarterback that I think is worth acquiring, but especially in Superflex leagues. If somebody's already got QBs passed by and Brissett's just collecting dust on somebody's bench, go out there, get him, because I think the next 4 weeks, some of the matchups too, he gets Jacksonville, he gets San Francisco, he gets Tampa. Those are going to be some higher scoring games potentially. Good news for fantasy managers who are trying to get Jacoby Brissett.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Today's prop was 15, right? And he's at 44. If you altered him to 20 or 25 plus, those are some big numbers. Like 15 and a half, like Jack Besh this morning was 11 and a half, and his number got bet up to 15 and a half. Tyler Lockett was 16 and a half and bet down to 15 and a half. If you just took a shot, like 15 to 25 is nothing. And next week, his number's not going to be 15.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Time for some spread lines, the headlines and the spreads that you need to know. And some factor into tonight's Maction action. Some we get down to the business a little bit later on Saturday. And some get down to the business as we talk about Sunday NFL action. Let's get to the Mac tonight. A 7 o'clock start, 307, 308 on the rotation. That's Toledo and Miami, Ohio. This look-ahead line opened up at Toledo, around a 2.5-point favorite. That's gone. You see 3.5 here coming up on the graphic, and it's high as 4.5 now at some outlets as a favorite towards Toledo right now. If we look at this game's total, 44.5, now up slightly to 45.5. What gives tonight in action for the spread line between Toledo and Miami, Joe?
Well, Donnie, you're spot on, right? 2.5 is what it opened up at. And boy, oh boy, it didn't take long before you went right through that key number of 3 to 3.5. And now I'm seeing 4 and 4.5s continuing to roll in here on the road favorite, that being Toledo. But here's the problem, Donnie, and this is the problem a lot of people have. From a metric standpoint, Toledo has been great. From a wins and losses standpoint, they just have not lived up to it. And head coach Jason Candle, and this is something you're going to hear a lot before kickoff, he is one of the worst as a favorite when it comes to head coaches in the MAC. He has lost 18 times as a favorite, Donnie, including 11 of at least a touchdown favorite. He's not that big a favorite here, but they're on their way to continuing. This may go to 4.5, may go to 5. I'm not buying it. Chuck Martin at Miami of Ohio has been there for a long time. This is the time of year that he usually wins. I think, Donnie, let the public just say, it's Toledo. They're going to win. Yeah, you just keep betting it up, Donnie, because I'll be waiting right before kick when that number gets to 5, and I'll be backing Miami of Ohio.
Northern Illinois on the road to UMass and some other action. One game starts at 7. The other game starts at 7. You can watch that doubleheader, 305, 306 on the rotation. Northern Illinois on the road at UMass. Look at this line. Opened up the look ahead around 13.5. Dropped slightly there. 11.5 now listed across the board. The total. What's happened in my action here, Joe? 44.5 being bet down to 43.5. NIU versus UMass here. What's the spread line action today for that?
Oh, it's hilarious. Donnie, we have made fun of UMass all year. They are just hilariously bad, right? I mean, even Akron crushed UMass last week, 44-10. So it's not a surprise to see them as a double-digit dog here, and I'm shocked it hasn't gone a little bit higher. But the problem is they're taking on Northern Illinois, who defensively, pretty good. Offensively, Donnie, they've scored a total of 69 points in 5 MAC conference games thus far. They've only scored 110 points in 9 games total this season here. They are horrific offensively here, but even the most horrific offensive teams, well, when you play UMass, they make you look really, really good here. I think there's a reason this total, Donnie, has not moved since the open at 43.5. Nobody knows who's going to score in this game. Somebody will, but I got news for you. Cannot trust Northern Illinois to be a double-digit favorite here. I can't even believe I'm saying this, Donnie. You got to back UMass.
On the road again, as they like to say. By the way, the Devil going down to Georgia Saturday night. We'll find out. That's Texas and Georgia. This line opened up at 5.5. Now we're seeing as high as 6.5 at some outlets as a favorite towards the Bulldogs between the hedges. The total, Joe, 51.5. They're being bet down to 48.5. It feels like Texas could get eliminated on Saturday night with a loss, or they could rise to the occasion and knock off the Bulldogs and send chaos into the SEC. What are we looking at from the spread line perspective, Joe? Texas, Georgia.
Spoke with one of my buddies there in a risk room yesterday, and he said it has been nothing but Georgia money from the opening number. And you talked about it here, Donnie, right? We saw them open as maybe a 4.5, 5. Then it was 5.5. Now we're getting to 6. It's been all Georgia money. They keep coming in and betting Georgia. And he said they did the same thing last week, too. When Georgia was playing Mississippi State. And, well, that worked out pretty well for bettors, didn't it? I mean, that might have been one of the most no-sweat covers of the season for Georgia. Now, are they going to do the same thing here? My advice, and what I'm hearing, is that this is likely going to come close to 7, Donnie, before kick. And when it does, that's when the money will come back in on the Texas Longhorns. So if you like Texas, hold off. You'll have a chance to bet them quickly when that line hits 7 before the kick.
Sark heading into Georgia. We'll see how that one turns out. Let's flip it over to the NFL on Sunday, Joe. 1 p.m. start, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Joe Flacco taking on Aaron Rodgers. This line opened up at 5.5. We still sit at 5.5 across the board right now, and a total at 49.5. We still sit at 49.5. Two old men at quarterback, Joe. What's the spread line here for you?
Well, and the big news, of course, we talked about it yesterday, Donnie, is, Joe Burrow working his way back. Like, why? Because Joe Flacco's done such a terrible job here. The Bengals are off a bye. And, of course, the Steelers are coming off that West Coast game that they absolutely threw up all over themselves with against the Chargers. So there is a distinct situational advantage here for Cincinnati. But of course, there's the revenge angle for the Steelers, who, don't forget, gave up the game-winning field goal to the Bengals on Thursday Night Football a month ago. So the Bengals racked up nearly 500 yards of offense there, but their defense, shocker, gave up just as many. I don't know that this number, the look-ahead line, Donnie, was 5.5, 6. Yeah. And guess what? Yeah. It's exactly where we are here. It's quite obvious that there are going to be, I think, Pittsburgh money late here. But right now, 5.5 is no man's land in the books, Donnie. You know that. They're just waiting to see where does the money come in and when during the week does the money come in here on either Pittsburgh or Cincinnati. But it could very well just stay right here, 5.5.
Yep, we'll see where it goes here tonight in the association. The Cavaliers and the Heat will go at 7:30 p.m. Eastern at Miami. This line sits around 6 to 5.5, depending on where you're shopping at. Cavaliers and the Heat, Joe. What are you looking at for a spread line tonight in the association?
Well, Donnie, we talked about this game a couple of nights ago. The total the other night was 248, and they almost scored 300 points and with an overtime period. Now you're looking at a day later now, we're 10 points less than that in the total here, Donnie. And what has changed? They had a night off. I don't think anything changes. The over for me with these two teams.
News and notes in the NFL. Players contemplating retirement after they got traded. Well, that's so Philadelphia. It's already happened this year. We'll be right back.
Notre Dame playing very well, in a position to crack the top 12. Now they have to take care of business.
Here's what I want from and again, we're going to go over who we think is actually going to make the playoffs here a little bit later in the show. But understand this, Joe. I don't want any ACC in there. I don't want any Big 12 in there. Just give me the Big 10 and the SEC. And Mike, quite frankly, if you just gave me Ohio State, Indiana, and the rest of the SEC, boom, boom.
Nah.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
It is a sickness in this league. They stink, and they should stink next year. That's it.
But the expectation is to be a 9-8 football team.
So let's shake it. Why is that the expectation? They're garbage. And traded away two of the few good guys they have.
But they're going to get how many draft picks in the first round? 3 next year?
2.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Brissett has been that good. So this is a quarterback that I think is worth acquiring, but especially in Superflex leagues. If somebody's already got QBs past the bye and Brissett's just collecting dust on somebody's bench, go out there, get him, because I think the next 4 weeks, some of the matchups too, he gets Jacksonville, he gets San Francisco, he gets Tampa. Those are going to be some higher scoring games potentially. Good news for fantasy managers who are trying to get Jacoby Brissett.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Today's prop was 15, right? And he's at 44. If you altered him to 20 or 25 plus, those are some big numbers. Like 15.5, like Jack Besh this morning was 11.5, and his number got bet up to 15.5. Tyler Lockett was 16.5 and bet down to 15.5. If you just took a shot, like 15 to 25 is nothing. And next week, his number's not going to be 15.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
NFL news and notes here on a Wednesday as we anticipate Week 11 starting, which will take place tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football. We might get a snoozer between New England and the New York Jets. We'll get to that game in just a little bit, but some interesting news came down late. Multiple accounts, Adam Schefter, other beat writers. Jair Alexander of the Philadelphia Eagles is stepping away from the game right now, I guess to get a mental clarity and getting a little bit healthier with his knee. Here's the understanding, which, always came through. Jair Alexander was a really, really good football player for the Green Bay Packers. Top-level cornerback, paid like it and performed like it. But we always saw some of those snippets coming out where he is a little bit squirrely at times. But again, some of these NFL guys, just, hey, look, this is how they were superstars. They're a little bit off, per se. But now we take a look at Jair Alexander where he's gone from the Green Bay Packers, and it's like, off-season signing for the Baltimore Ravens. Like, man, that's a good signing. If that works out and he's healthy, the Baltimore Ravens might have one of the most talented defenses in the NFL, maybe the best secondary. And it's like, well, wait a second. He's not playing. He's inactive, but he's healthy, but they're trying to get him right, and all this goes down. And it's like something doesn't make sense here, Joe. Then he gets traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, and all indications are, hey, man, I'm feeling great, going to get to Philadelphia. I practice right away with the thoughts of him starting against the Green Bay Packers, his former team, only to be led that the Eagles took a plane trip out to Green Bay. He wasn't included, and they said, look, too fast, too soon, got to learn the system. He'll be back next week. Then the next round of information comes out. Jair Alexander is stepping away from the NFL, Joe.
And it's a total about face, Donnie, from when, when he was traded, they interviewed him there. And I mean, even last Tuesday, he was totally happy to have a shot to come to Philadelphia. He said, I wanted to prove myself. I can be what I know I am. He suggested he was healthier than he had been all season. He was born in Philadelphia, Donnie, and his family is still there. So, you're right. Once he didn't travel with the team, it was, all right, give him the benefit of doubt. Maybe they're giving him a chance to get assimilated, but it kind of felt like there was something more to the story, and that's exactly what it turned out to be.
It certainly was, because again, they're trying to cover for him and do the right thing. But the fact that you're right. The cameras, the microphones in front of them, good spirits, can't wait to play out here. And, the beat writers for the Philadelphia Eagles were watching the drills that they were doing in practice. And what's interesting here? You got Quinyon Mitchell on one side, and it looks like the starting lineup here does have Jair Alexander. Maybe he does get a spot start in Green Bay, only for him not to take the plane trip out here and then a few days later step away from the NFL. Probably not going to play again in the NFL. If it's been a year and a half, 2 years where they're blaming the injury, but it's not the injury to cover for the mental state of things. Just hope he gets right at this point. He probably shouldn't be playing in the NFL. Just get his life back in order. We'll see where that goes and see if he does come back to the Philadelphia Eagles. But certainly, I guess the Eagles and the organization not counting on that right now. Same thing with Darius Smith. Hey, man, I'm going to win a championship and come over, play a couple games. Hey, man, need more snaps at it. Yeah, I'm good. I'm going to retire here. So that's twice this season. Looks like players that were either picked up or traded for have retired on the Philadelphia Eagles. Antonio Brown, he's in the news again. How about this? Captured walking off the jet in Miami as he prepares to go on trial for attempted murder. He pleads not guilty in this sense.
Oh, shocker. Not guilty there. The problem is they went out of their way to find you as you were taunting them and while you were in Dubai trying to throw off the scent, so to speak here, Donnie. This is not going to be good at all. This is not. And it's unfortunate, too, from a guy from where he was, Donnie, to, just the steady decline has just been absolutely crazy here. And there are a lot of videos that are out there showing this incident, and none of them look good for Antonio Brown.
It's pretty wild, too, because this is one of those guys who was so good at wide receiver, and he just missed that mega boom of money influx that all the wideouts got, but he was out of the league because he is a certified nut job at that point. Never was able to cash in, and this is just a crazy spiral down from being maybe the best wide receiver in football, Hall of Fame career, to where we're winding up right now. Green Bay Packers talk. We just talked Jair Alexander, but how about this? Elgin Jenkins fractured his lower leg versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The center there for Green Bay. Boy, they can't, no pun intended. They can't catch a break. They're getting injured right now at the wrong time, Joe.
Well, listen, even before he got injured there, and that's not great news here because the offensive line has been banged up for most of the season. But even before then, there are some issues with this offense. And just like that, Matt LaFleur, that seat is getting very hot. Could we see maybe play calling duties being given up here, because you can't have a Philadelphia defense calling out the plays before they happen on the field, Donnie. There's something's going on there in Green Bay, and it's not good right now.
Yeah, you know what else is going on in Carolina? Bill Belichick trying to get the head coach of the New York Giants, but not being able to get the head coach of the Giants. Once the Giants is going to embarrass North Carolina, you get what you deserve, people. That's just the way it goes down. And we continue to roll in the morning right here on the early line.
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF.
Oh, is
now.
that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF.
So he's got
now.
an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72 to nothing.
Keep that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to talk a little NFL action for Thursday night and do a preview, but we ended the last segment here with something I wanted to ask Joe a question on. That was with Bill Belichick and the expectations for North Carolina as he uses his old, hey, man, we're just on to Wake Forest at this point, speculation here. I hope this happens. I really do. I hope that North Carolina has this season where they were thoroughly embarrassed from start to finish. And it ends with Bill Belichick accepting a job even before the end of the college football season to go back to the pros, and then have Carolina going we paid all this money to everybody here. We got a terrible season. We set back our school 4 to 5 years in recruiting, and now we have to rebuild. That's what I hope happens. Does Bill Belichick say, you know what? I made a choice to go to college. My legacy is on the line. If I turn out that I go to Carolina for 1 year and ruin that school and embarrass it, and we don't even make a bowl game, then I go back to the NFL, and then I go to the Giants, which you're not going to rekindle the magic because you don't have Tom Brady at that point. Where does this leave Bill Belichick? Is he better just staying in college and saying after 2 or 3 years, I can get to a bowl game, then retire and save some face? Or do I just embarrass myself again with this charade at Carolina, go right back to the NFL, and then see what I can do without Tom Brady?
I don't know what everyone was thinking was going to happen in North Carolina with Belichick, Donnie, first and foremost here. I mean, they're 4-5, and I'm making the argument here that they lost 2 games in the final 10 seconds that they could have won and should have won. They should be, in all aspects, they should be 6-3 right now and could very well be 6-3. The fumble in the end zone and Cal in the final play was absurd. And then, of course, the 2-point conversion they went for in overtime and were a half a yard short. This is not as bad a situation as everyone made. I don't know what people were expecting on it, but their win total, Donnie, I think was only 6.5 anyway. So, I mean, they're on par for what the market thought they were going to be. Having said that, you're going to find out rather quickly whether this was all just a temporary move to get his son set up and he wants to go back to the NFL or not here. Something tells me the animosity and his rules about keeping the Patriots and the grudge he has against the Patriots, something tells me that maybe he's got a desire to get back to the NFL. And listen, the reason Dable got hired there, the reason Joe Judge got hired with the Giants, is because the Mara family picked up the phone and called Belichick. He's in with them. So it could very well be, if he's not the guy getting the job, I promise you the Mara family is going to ask him who he thinks should have the job.
You know, with the expanded college football playoff, bowl games are absolutely meaningless, ridiculous, only there for us degenerates to bet on. No other need for those. But I got to tell you, now we have like Amazon Prime, we have Netflix. They're always bargaining and trying to get like new things to get people to subscribe. You know what I would subscribe to, Joe? Give me like a December 15th, Colorado versus North Carolina bowl game when both of them probably won't be bowl eligible, and the loser gets fired after the game. Like, have a big payout. People will watch that at this point here. But that's what I'm down to at this point. I would love nothing less than Belichick to leave North Carolina high and dry. And where does that leave Lombardi over there as the GM, the worst college football GM in history? Because we were led to believe when Bill Belichick accepts that job in North Carolina, everybody's going to want to hit the transfer portal and come here. And nobody wanted to come there at that point. Good luck selling these kids on getting to North Carolina. I hope he leaves them high and dry and heads back to the NFL. But let's get back to the NFL. One of the teams that Bill Belichick used to coach, that's New England Patriots. They're much better today than in Belichick's last season. Why? Look at this Thursday night football spread. Opened up double digits at 10.5. We're no longer there, Joe. You see the 12.5 that's going to come up on the graphic. Other outlets as high as 13.5. 2 touchdowns for the Patriots as a favorite against a division rivalry on a Thursday night. Too much too soon, Joe. What is it?
Well, 7-game winning streak for the Patriots. They're 6-1 against the number over that stretch. They're top 10 in just about each metric, offensively as well as defensively. Drake May is one of the favorites now to win the Most Valuable Player award. I mean, Donnie, what in the world could go wrong on a Thursday night as a double-digit, almost 2-touchdown favorite? The answer is everything, because that's what the NFL is. And this is exactly the kind of spot where people are going to start using that dreaded L word, Donnie. You know what that L word is, right? It's a lock. It's a lock. The Patriots are going to blow them. Yeah, if you've been following the NFL for more than 30 seconds, that you know, if it's too good to be true, it's probably not. So I would be very careful with this game here, because this is exactly the kind of game that goes sideways in a hurry for a team like the Patriots.
Yeah, taking a look at this, like, using FanDuel right now. You look at some of the passing yards props here. Drake May is up at 241.5. Why? Because he throws the football and they have pretty good efficiency doing it. There are no props for quarterbacks here for the New York Jets. So the point being made is, well, the Jets are so bad they don't have quarterback props. No, the point being made is Joe's talking about, how do you even prepare for a Jets team on a short work week when it's like, okay, usually we have to get 50 formations down pat here for the defense, and this guy loves to throw it to this dominant wide receiver, and this guy's fantastic. You go, who catches passes for the Jets? I don't know. Do they throw the football? Not really, threw 11 times last game. So we're going to prepare for a quarterback that's just going to play street football over there and see what happens here. Yeah, let's just get out of Dodge with a victory here. 7 points, we're fine. We'll move on. We'll continue our winning streak down the road. Because, Joe, when you look at this game tomorrow night, it's supposed to go 28-14, 28-10 New England. Like, that's the game script in this game. But we know that's not really the game script what happens. Look last week. The Jets won a football game with their quarterback throwing for about 40 yards to 50 yards, only completing 6 passes, and they won. Why? Because it's not all facets of the game or just passing the football. You can score on special teams. You can score on defense. The other team can just play poorly here and understand this. It's a short work week in the NFL. The toughest games to gauge are these Thursday night games.
Yeah. And well, just ask Buffalo how easy it was to roll into Miami and beat them, right? Because they, as I say, almost a double-digit fit. That is it. Divisional dogs, short work week. And by the way, Donnie, that was a very hard-fought and physical game on the road against Tampa. Now a short week. And don't think for 1 minute a young team like that is already set. Now we already won this game. You think they're going to take the Jets seriously here? Vrabel has never been a great coach as a double-digit favorite. He doesn't have a winning record as a double-digit favorite. This is a big ask for a young Patriots team to be this focused and honed in on a team like the Jets, who, let's face it, they probably think they've already beaten.
They absolutely have at this point. And also some touchdown props here to deal with in this game. Travion Henderson, he looks sensational, and he looks like he should be the lead dog. But come on, Ramondre Stevenson is practicing this week. We'll see if he cuts into it. But they're both listed at minus 185 just to protect the book. They don't know who the starter's going to be, so they hang that dummy line up there. I wouldn't be betting minus 185s here until I see who's actually the starter, Joe.
I just need to know who the kick returner and punt returner are for the Jets. Whoever that is, Donnie, that's my touchdown prop, because that's their bet. It ain't that, that's for sure. But yes, I would go with all of the special teams guys for an anytime touchdown on the Jets, because that's their best offense right now.
It really is. Like, I'm interested to see some of these lines that pop up at this point to see what the Jets' actual skill positions are, because their lead wide receiver is actually a tight end with about 30 yards. The second leader, it's Breece Hall there in the backfield, 15.5 as a receiving prop. Now, we're getting news out of New York right now, Joe, at a starting quarterback. It's not going to be, Russell Wilson. It's not going to be, of course, Mr. Dart. You know who it is? Jameis Winston is starting this weekend against the Green Bay Packers, Joe. Whoa, boy. The expectations for this one or what?
Donnie, I was screaming yesterday saying, why in the world is he still on this team? You cannot go to Russell Wilson again and think that's going to, A, excite the fan base, B, give the locker room some sort of jolt. Everybody has seen it in Russell. He's burnt, he's spent, he's already, he's already moved on. Like, Jameis is the guy. He is exactly the guy for this spot for the Giants. I'll take him this week against Green Bay.
I got to tell you with this, I look at this and I say to myself, the Green Bay Packers defense is fantastic. Cornerback sensational. Pass rush phenomenal. Jameis Winston doesn't care about that. He's going to throw touchdowns and interceptions. Should we be looking at an over now all of a sudden the Big Apple? We'll be right back.
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF
Oh, is
now.
that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF now.
So he's got an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72 to nothing.
Keep that dude away from polite society.
Okay, by the way, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
What are we going to do with the Dallas Mavericks here? And the shame of the whole thing is that the Dallas Mavericks sort of got bailed out a little bit by getting Cooper Flagg. We'll see how great he is in his career. Still rookie, learning his way, but the Dallas Mavericks are not performing well. But also, what were the expectations coming in anyway? You trade Luka Doncic, and the one thing you know is, first and foremost, you're the NBA. It's a business. Your town, your city, love Luka Doncic. No matter if they won championships, made deep runs into the playoffs, it didn't matter. The American Airlines Arena would be sold out with tons of Luka merchandise. The fan base would be happy, always looking for that win. Hey, can we pair somebody with Luka Doncic? Can we get a better 2-guard, 3-guard to go along with him here? Let's build for the future, but they love Luka. And overnight, Luka was traded. And the best part about this trade was, I remember when the story started to leak out after it was done, where the Lakers couldn't even believe what they were hearing, to the point where they told the Mavericks and Nico Harrison, don't you dare tell anybody about what we're talking about until this is absolutely done, signed, sealed, and delivered. And what happened? Luka Doncic was on his way out to L.A., and Anthony Davis was coming back. We still, Joe, talk about this trade and can't believe how it actually went down.
Well, you know, and I love it too yesterday, because the Mavs are, you know, all of a sudden you look, Donnie, and this is becoming an absolute dumpster fire here. Because the owner pens a letter to the Mavs fans and basically pins everything that has gone wrong on Nico, on the GM, which is hilarious to me, given the fact that this isn't just a GM issue. This was an ownership issue as well. Like, all of you guys signed off on it and gave him the okay to make that trade. And then everyone thought it was going to be fine when you got the ping pong ball and got Cooper Flagg. But guess what? Yeah, you still got Anthony Davis, who can't play more than 12 games a season. So I'm sorry, man. I think this whole thing, congratulations, move on. But I do not trust ownership. I do not trust anything about this team. And good luck bringing the next guy in, because they are a dumpster fire at the very top levels of that team right now.
Like, you make the trade for Davis. He's always injured. He's been injured. Kyrie went down, got injured last year. Like, the theory of, like, okay, Kyrie's going to come back, Anthony Davis is going to come back, and then Cooper Flagg's going to be there for the playoff run does make some sense. But now you fire Nico at this point, and it's a new regime saying, okay, well, now we might trade Anthony Davis. And, like, it's almost like, what did you do the past year itself? So if we look at Nico Harris, some of the things he actually done, you know, traded Luka Doncic after the finals run, refused an offer to Jalen Brunson. I don't know how close that Brunson deal is actually going to be, because Brunson's dad was in New York. He was probably going there anyway. But nothing has worked out. But also, you can make bad trades, but as long as you keep your talented, homegrown superstar in the building that everybody loves, you will still have a job. Like, what made him think, like, you know what? I'm going to revitalize this franchise. The fans won't mind. They're going to trade Luka, who went off the charts and going nuclear every night for LA. And my fans are going to see that. And then also understand that I'm getting back players that I don't even know will be healthy enough to be on the court. Then when I go to basketball games and I'm in the building, all these fans do is cheer. Fire Nico. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And you know how you get around that, Joe? You win basketball games. They weren't winning basketball games. A double compounded error there for the Dallas Mavericks, and they finally had to move on.
Listen, it was inevitable because, listen, Cooper Flagg right now is not going to be in the same breath as Luka Doncic right now. So that every time Luka goes out there with a double-double, triple-double, drops 40 points, every time, especially with the Lakers now, the Mavs fans are going to get real uncomfortable and real mad. So this was inevitable. Anything short of my goodness, they've only lost 3 games. They're on pace to battle OKC. This was always going to happen. But again, if I'm a Mavs fan, look higher up, because this didn't happen in a vacuum. Don't forget, right around the time they traded him, It was changing ownership, right? Everything was changing. He was due for a Supermax contract. The timing of it was very suspect, and I don't think Nico just decided, you know what, time for Luka to go here. Something else is going on in this organization right now.
By the way, put up that hater report tweet if we can, because I'm looking at it, and we don't have the whole picture up there, but one is Luka I can see. One is Jalen Brunson I can see. One is Kristaps Porzingis. But I got to be honest, who's the Sixers guy and the Clippers guy? Who are those two guys? Is that a joke, I guess?
That might be. That's a good question. Who is the Clippers guy? Who is the?
I don't know.
Yeah, it might. I guess everybody.
I guess it's
he's to blame for every bad move.
Yeah.
I love it.
Every single thing that certainly comes down the pike it is, but Nico Harrison out of a job, and it would be the ultimate troll move. And the NBA probably would have to step in. Like if Nico Harrison gets signed to the Los Angeles Lakers, like a front office executive, like one of those guys that's just an administrator at this point, or somebody who's going to be able to check in, that would be such major trolling. It'd be worth whatever you had to pay in fines and or whatever you paid him.
Yeah, I got news for you. I just hope he writes a book. I hope he puts it out and explains to us exactly the thought process and what was going on behind the scenes when all of a sudden you decided to trade the generational talent to, of all teams, the Los Angeles Lakers. Unbelievable here.
It is unbelievable. But tonight on the NBA hardcourt, Joe, the Golden State Warriors got pasted last night from OKC. Their starters didn't play all that much. Why? Because they got blown out. They could sit out the fourth quarter. The Spurs are on tap. The Spurs are rested and ready. That line, Joe, opened up at 5. Now it's down to 4.5 with 78% of the public money being spent, I should say, on those Spurs and tickets here tonight, Joe. Kind of an interesting one down there in San Antonio tonight.
Well, it's interesting, too, because Draymond's already starting here after getting blown out last night, talking about he's questioning the Warriors' desire to actually want to win. And you got a bunch of mid-30-year-old guys playing out the string here on a Warriors team. And already Draymond and Steph Curry once again are questionable tonight.
How about Louisville?
Unreal.
Oh, knocking off Kentucky last night. They were the favorite despite not being the higher-ranked team, Joe. 96-88, a ton of points and a ton of fun. But the victor and the winner over State of Kentucky, it's Louisville.
Yep, Louisville is back. Make no mistake about it. I think the jury is still out on Kentucky, but, Louisville, the first win in forever, Donnie, against Kentucky. It's been a while.
Other scores last night, Michigan 85-84 in overtime over Wake Forest. Ooh. BYU handles Delaware. Florida escapes against Florida State as close to a 20-point favorite. And Illinois, top 15 battle, knocks off Texas Tech. Good stuff from last night. More topics coming up next.
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
his daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF
is
now.
that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF now.
So he's got an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72 to nothing.
Keep that dude away from polite society.
Okay, by the way, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is
Numerous Pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Another useless TV show yesterday. This is why you just got to keep it here on the SportsGrid Network. We're not going to give you useless information that you cannot use, known to change no matter what you say on a certain week. That next week, the games will be played in college football and new rankings will be released. Well, the college football rankings did come out yesterday, number 1 and number 2. No real surprise, Ohio State and Indiana. I was interested to see if A&M might actually jump over Indiana, but they didn't. Rest of the top 5, Alabama, number 4, and Georgia, number 5. But that's not really the focal point for me. Usual suspects are in there, but the ACC, Joe, is very interesting. Miami in 15th here is the highest-ranked ACC team, despite probably not even having a chance to play in the ACC championship game, followed by Georgia Tech, followed by Virginia, followed by the Cardinal, followed by Pitt. You get the point here. This is going to be interesting the way this plays out. Now, you were explaining it in Caffeinated Joe. Is it possible, or isn't it against the rules? Like, if you win the ACC championship game, don't you automatically have to be placed in the college football playoff, or no?
No. Keep in mind, the new rule here is that it's conference champions, right? It's the new rule says the 5 highest ranked conference champions get bids. That doesn't mean all of the top of the Power 4 conference champions. No, it means all conference champions. Okay. So the 5 highest ranked. So my point was, if Duke runs the table here as a 4-loss team and wins the ACC, they're not going to be ranked higher than the Sun Belt champion and James Madison or the American Athletic Conference champion. They're not going to be, which means the ACC, one of the 4 powers, could very well have absolutely nobody representing them in the college football playoff.
Interesting stuff as it boils down to. Now, maybe we're just all playing for second place because Ohio State is that good, but those rankings will change. I can't stand the fact that people put time and effort into watching that college football playoff show. The stupidest thing, it's almost like, Joe, if I sold you and said, you know what, we're going to do a weekly NFL show. We're going to put the playoff standings every single week up that you can watch and go, well, don't you have multiple games left in a chance? Yeah, but you need to watch this because right now, Kansas City's going to win it. And I go, well, Kansas City's not even in the playoff. No. Trust me, Kansas, it doesn't make any sense at this point. I've been railing on this college football playoff show for years. It's just the way it is. All right, let's clear out here on college football playoff show. You know me, and for the longest time, I've said, growing up as a kid, all-star games are important. We only get to watch certain players, certain teams, and certain individuals, not 24/7 social media, every single highlight. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game, so cool. The NBA All-Star Game, so cool. The NHL All-Star Game, I loved it growing up as a kid. The Pro Bowl, we all tuned into it in Hawaii to end the NFL season. Now, every single one of those games is absolutely ridiculous outside of baseball because at least it gives you the option to say, it looks like baseball out there. No other sport does it correctly anymore because we don't need it here. Now the NBA, get your calculator out because now we're going to say 3 teams, 4 teams, 2 teams, 3 teams. You're an all-star. You're not an all-star. East Coast team, West Coast team, and then we'll go overseas and get some players. Then we'll play like 16 games on a Sunday, and voila, we have a victor. Stop the madness. End the NBA. Just have a nice, fun weekend. Bring the DJs out. Have a dunk competition. Shoot some threes. Get the boys back in the building for a game on Monday night after All-Star weekend. The All-Star game is atrocious, and it must end, Joe. It must.
They're making it way more complicated than it needs to be here, Donnie. And I'll tell you what this all stems from. It stems from what the NHL did with the Four Nations face-off last year instead of the All-Star game, where that was incredible, right? Yeah, U.S., yeah, North America. It was absolutely phenomenal. But you're not going to recreate that in the NBA, and that's exactly what they think they're doing here by making, a World All-Star team. It doesn't work like that. I mean, kudos to the NHL for trying something different. And they nailed it, but the NBA, you're not going to have that same kind of feel here with the All-Star game by trying to make it, Team USA versus the world. It's not going to work.
You can't, and every year, too, like the NBA All-Star Game ratings drop there when they tried a new format. Stop trying new formats. Do you know what the best format of all time was for the NBA All-Star Game? East best players, West best players, and they somewhat care about the basketball game. That we don't need to. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just say, guys, this is our league here. Show some respect. Play a pretty intense pickup game. It doesn't have to be Game 7 of the finals here. Have fun. That's what the people want to see. But make it be competitive. Is that too hard to ask for players to just play basketball?
Yeah, or have the players put up their own money, Donnie. That's what I would do.
Ridiculous, man. The NBA, oh my goodness. Don't get me started. But we're going to get started on hour number 2 next.